and you, like Guyana shine. Together we build, now is the time. With all be strong and heart so true. We're rising now, me and you, oh, Becky and you, for justice, yeah, for every family, everywhere, for jobs so true, for brighter days, so you can build a better way. Who you voting for? I begin you. Who gon' lift you more? I begin you. Who gon' care for all? I begin you. Stand up tall and bold. I begin you. AP and you, go, 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 go. AP and you, go, 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 go. AP and you, go, 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 go. AP and you, like Guyana shine. Together we build, now is the time. With all be strong. Now in the street there is violence, and none of that shot what to be done. Residents of Plaisance, Finance, Electoral, they are invited to safety and youth public meeting tomorrow, 7th of August at 6 p.m. Bowman Street, Plaisance. We are putting people first. Come and hear better wages, safer community, more love to you. Be a part of this movement and vote safety and youth. Residents of Plaisance, Finance, Electoral,
Audio check, mic. Testing microphones 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sound check, sound check. Check, check. 1, 2, sound. Audio.
Sound check 1, 2. Plaisance, Paranam, Plaisance, and neighboring communities. Good evening. I am Kiraki Amsterdam, Organizing Secretary of the Working People's Alliance. I take the opportunity tonight to welcome you to this meeting, and I thank you in advance for coming out. Tonight, the Working People's Alliance, a member of the APNU, comes to you in its full name. We come to address you as the Working People's Alliance. And there are very many reasons why we chose to do that. But brothers and sisters, I am not here to necessarily explain that, except to say APNU coalition is strong. The Working People's Alliance is happy to be a part of the APNU coalition. But we are here this evening, brothers and sisters, to give you some assurances in our own name and to ensure that you are aware that as a member of the newly formed APNU government, come September 2nd in this country, the WPA will fight to ensure that all promises made to you by this coalition are kept. Brothers and sisters, I don't intend to stand between you and the other speakers too much longer. I want to tell you that the first man up is a Baronian and an African cultural representative who has served this country and has served this community and the citizens of this country for quite a while. He's a fighter. And when he was exposing the wickedness of the corrupting BV, they chose to do him harm. He was physically attacked. But brothers and sisters, I will always say that those physical attacks did not stop him from representing the cause of the Baronian and other Guyanese. And so, brothers and sisters, I want to welcome to the podium tonight Brother Elton McRae out of BB. Put your hands together, brothers and sisters, as we welcome Brother Elton McRae.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Gaddafi. Good night, Plaisance. Good night, Plaisance. Yes, I am here to discuss some of the issues confronting us as a people and to explain to you why it is necessary to be voting on the September the 4th for the APNU. Because we all understand one simple phrase: for Guyana to grow, PPP must go. Now, we grew up in this country hearing some simple lies that many of us take as truth. We are told many a times that black people do not like land. Black people don't know agriculture. But I want to remind you that Plaisance was born simply because your poor parents love land. They love agriculture. And they didn't just love agriculture, they produced food to feed others very successfully under the system called cooperatives. They were probably the first group of people that came together to form small business people who came together to form a co-op in this country. right? And that co-op was able to match any other big business in this country. And they were thwarted or they were discouraged in every which way as a people. So much so that today, when you look at the statistics, black people control less than 5% of the economic wealth of this country. 5%, less than 5% of economic activities in this country. That's because they were pushed aside at governmental and policy levels. They were not afforded this kind of support others were afforded. We all know that in Plaisance we have people called Dayas, Govayo, Gonzal. These people came to Plaisance primarily to prevent your poor parents from becoming involved in trade activities. They were the ones who bought the plantain and cassava that your poor parents produced in those back dams and to sell to the estates at Oglu or at Better Hope, which were still functioning producers, where indentured servants were occupied and had to be fed. So instead of your foreparents being able to sell directly to those plantations, they prevented it and said only the Portuguese can do that. In this way, the Portuguese, though today they are less than 6% of the national population, they control more than 15% of the national wealth, Portuguese people. And they made that wealth off the backs of your foreparents. If this was not machinated, if this was not designed like that, they would have been probably in a worse position than they are today. So I'm saying all of this to say to you that you can become involved in business once again. And the APNU government, with, when voted into power, will be putting measures in place to encourage you back into business. It is one of the things that the manifesto will reveal will be allowing small businesses to grow, right? They will not only be providing these opportunities for businesses, they will be providing opportunities for you to be once more engaged in serious agriculture because of their agriculture policies that they will be, will be repealing shortly. Now, now the APNU in government shall be putting quite a few measures in place to assist us as a people to make strides because all the poor people in this country will benefit from those policies. When I say poor people in this country, I'm talking across the board. Indian, Portuguese, because many of the poor people have been left out of the economy in a large way, and only a few selected ones have been allowed to enjoy the fruits of this bonanza that we are calling oil. Now, among the things that we will be benefiting from is support while you study to become doctors, engineers, lawyers, craftsmen on the whole. And this support will allow you to become again, once more, to be involved in businesses because we are aware that today we have a lot of contractors doing technical work which they are not capable of doing, producing roads which one American described as concussion roads. Now, within the APNU, with an APNU government in place, our technicians, our contractors will be trained how to build proper roads. And while they are being trained, they will be supported to the tune of up to $600,000 a year. That is 50,000 a month. So we must understand this government that we are talking about that will be coming in on the 2nd of September will be geared towards helping people in general and especially you people who have been marginalized by the PPP government over the years. The marginalization is not only restricted to business. We all have been hearing about the crisis about the Plaisance backlands. And I'm happy that Plaisance people have stood up to those attempts to seize their backlands. But it's not yet over. And we are hoping, but not that we are hoping, I know when the APNU gets into office, those issues will be put to rest. So, Plaisance people, if you want your backlands back, vote APNU. Because as my friend has said, once said to me, and because I ain't been key, make I ain't get back down today. So please care about your backlands. Think about what the cost of those backlands in terms of the blood, sweat, and tears of your ancestors. So respect them and preserve those backlands. Make those backlands profitable because it's the largest or most valuable resource you have apart from yourselves in this community. It can provide work and income for a large number of the young men and women in Plaisance today who are the precious relatives on this community as speak to you. Because of the sidelining or the marginalization that you have enjoyed, quite a large percentage of the people from this community are unemployed or underemployed. And those backgrounds, if properly managed, can provide employment and a livable income for quite a number of youth. So work with the APNU, prevent this cabal that's presently in office from continuing in option bedroom and allow ourselves to be free of them by voting for the APNU from September 4th. Now, an area that I would like to really focus on as we discuss this situation confronting us as a community. Of late, we have been targeted by some people who are once associated with the PPP. And by this I'm referring to this. I don't know since when overnight these people become so lovable of people who are poor and marginalized. These are the people who have benefited most from the PPP corruption. You know, many of you may remember in 2012, a fishing boat was robbed in Curacao of 70 gold bars. This fishing boat originated in Guyana. Yet the Guyana government never attempted to launch an investigation and prosecute those who own and control that fishing boat. It went on the radar. It went as if it never happened. You know why? Because the owners of that fishing boat, the produce that fishing boat was fetching out of Guyana, and everything associated was from the belly of the PVP. I mean, names like Mohammed were being bandied about, and we all know it was Mohammed because only Mohammed had the capacity to really deal with that amount of gold at that set time. 70 gold bars, the 500 kilograms. Yes, yet no one was prosecuted because you know why? Because if the prosecution, if there was any attempt to prosecute anybody, then they would have actually got the PPP itself. And many of its members would have been involved. You know, thereby said Bharat gold in there too. Not only Mohammed. So we must understand, Mohammed has been leading the Phantom Squad that has killed many of your relatives, many people who have disappeared in the 2002-2010 period, right? We don't know where some, we've never found their bodies. All we know that they disappeared. We assume they are dead. Some we know or killed, we identify them, we bury them. But if you go back and investigate for yourself, you will find that the name Muhammad crops up every time the phantom squad is mentioned. So, how come now Muhammad is coming to tell us that he loves us? No way, people. Please don't believe the lies. So, when it's time to vote on September 4th, remember, don't split your vote. Vote solidly for the APN. You must vote solidly for the APN because without doing that, it will be difficult to remove the PPP from office. Right? Don't split your vote. Don't spoil your vote because any vote for Mohammed is like a vote for the PPP. Remember that. Yes. The brother was supporting when when the APN going up. APN promised that they will be cash transfers, not grants, not one-off cash grants. They will be cash transfers. Other speakers will explain that to you. Okay. Other speakers will explain that cash transfer, so I will not go into that. I'm saying that we need to remember that the people who has caused our downgrading in this society, we must not support them in any which way. And in that category, will fall the leadership of Big. So, you people in Plaisance, don't be fooled by a small house here, a small house there. These people have stolen millions from the state of Guyana. Millions, billions I should say. Because if the only thing this government has been bold enough to tell us it was about those three cars. Now why did they tell us about those three cars? Because our brothers and sisters, comrades, cousins who are working with the custom department, they know about the car and once they know they can't tell everybody. So it is still news. We are not being told who killed Donna Martina, but we are hearing that it was Mohammed's son. No. Those kind of things. But then they will not have investigated that because again it was on behalf of the PDP it was done. Right? The, we are hearing of paper shots murder these days. The policeman who they tried to pin it on told us what happened. Now Bharat is blocking up. So we all have to understand a vote for win is basically a vote for the PPP. And we must protect ourselves and our communities by voting solidly for the APNU. And WTA would like you to understand at this point in time that we are a part of the APNU, and if we are a part of the APNU, we will represent what the APNU is and try to ensure that APNU honors its commitment to you at all times. So, vote on for September 4th, APNU, and as my grandmother used to always say, for time to go, the PPP must go. Thank you, my husband. Forget to go. The PPP must go. Brothers and sisters, don't fool yourself. I am sure that each and every one of us here would like to see the consequences of the PPP. And if we agree that the PPP has to be put out of office so that it become a better place, then there's only one place we must put the star, the X.
There's only one place they can put, and that is for the APNU to ensure that by the 1st of September, all of the votes are going to the APNU. What the chances? Because if you put your votes anywhere, in practicality, you're putting your vote to the PPP. So ensure you vote solidly for the APNU. Brothers and sisters, for the speaker of that is a sister who has spent a lot of time in service to this country. And I like to talk especially that she spent a lot of time working at Mexico. So she has a good understanding of the ins and outs of Mexico. And also that you are instructors for means use Mexico as a cash out. I'm so invited to the podium tonight to talk with you, Sister Adriana Thomas. Put your hands together for Adriana. Sister Adriana Thomas, as she comes to the podium. services. I'd now like to talk about Daisuko. My colleague Becky talked about Daisuko and sugar. You know, sugar, the people likes to say that sugar is their thing. Well, sugar is not their thing anymore. Sugar is now the APNU thing. Because unless there's sugar workers within the sound of my voice, if you know people who work at Daisuko, if you know sugar workers, tell them to vote for the APNU come 1st of September. Because an APNU government will produce 150,000 pounds of sugar per year when we go back into government. We will work towards that in from 2016 to 2020, the APNU and AFC government that we had, they produced 2 to 3 times more sugar than what the PVPC government produced at Daisuko from 2021 to 2025. And they produced 2 to 3 times more sugar with less money than what the PPP is using now. The PPP is wasting our money. It needs to be more accountable. So with an APNU government, Daisuko will be rescued again. In 2015, the previous APNU and ARC government rescued Daisuko, and APNU government from 2025 will again rescue Daisuko. So in addition to producing 2 to 3 times more sugar than what the PPP is producing now, the APNU, the previous government, they earned over 200 million US dollars more than what this PPC government is earning at Daisuko from 2021 to 2025. So all the problems when you hear the private sector complaining about the shortage of foreign exchange, it's because Daisuko is making 200 million US dollars less. Don't worry with all the excuses that the vice president is coming up with. The vice president is a 2% economist. So even though the economy is growing by 30 something percent and 40 something percent, he's still running the country as if it's growing by 2%. So Daisuko made under the previous government over 200 million US dollars more. So we didn't have problems with foreign exchange. And the reason that is important is because we can produce a lot of things in Guyana, but not many things we can produce that will earn foreign exchange that sugar is earning for the country. So an APNU government will produce over 150,000 tons of sugar. So the sugar workers now who don't have anything to do, for APNU, and y'all will have a productive sugar industry again. And I hope my friends in Gao are listening to us. My friends like Sipon Lorraine and the others in Gao, I hope they're listening to us and they too will vote for APNU because I know they want to see a vibrant, productive sugar industry. And the only way they can have a vibrant and productive sugar industry is under an APNU government. And I want to talk to about the land. At Plaisance here, I know you have had some issues with land. So let's talk about what the APNU government will do about land. The whole perspective of the APNU government on land will be different from the PPC government. So the PPC government, when they're building a road to your community, they already eye up your front lands. So they want 300 feet of both sides as reserve for your front lands, right? And so what they will do, they will tell you that they're building this road and they want 300 feet of land on both sides. Take your front lands, sell it or give it to their friends, family, and favorites, and put you in the backlands. But let me tell you what the APNU government will do. We don't want your front lands. We will only take the land that is required for a 4-lane road and the reserve, a 2-lane road and the reserve, or a 1-lane road and the reserve. And if you have your front lands, you can lease your front lands. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do business with your front lands. So an APNU government is not going to take your front lands from you because the APNU government will not be a real estate agent. Just be the BC government. Just become a real estate agent. So they want to take your front lands and sell them or give them to their friends, family, and favorites, and then they give you $100,000. The policy of an APNU government will be to include land as an integral part of our poverty reduction, our wealth creation policy, strategy, and plans. So instead of the APNU government taking your front lands away from you, they will allow you to lease them, do what you want to do with them, because that will also reflect on the government's national policy, reduction policy, strategy, and plan. Instead of taking your lands and then giving you $100,000. That's the mentality that the PPC government has as it relates to lands. The other thing that they're doing, we must tell the BC government, these roads that you build is with our money. And so it's not that you're doing us a favor to get roads for our communities and then say that you want our front lands, right? And it's important that you know your rights as citizens, that you know your rights as landowners. So the other thing with agriculture, with land, the president was, I don't know if he still is, the chairperson for, I think, the Caribbean Food Security Program. You know, they talk about the 25 by 25. Now, the government is talking about all of these food hubs. But we who have all this land here in Plaisance on the East Coast, did anybody tell you how much food you can produce to go into these food hubs? No. So with the APNU government, we are going to build on that food security program, expand on it, put more structure to it, and where you, as the landowners, you will know how much you can produce because these food hubs, they need food. Who is producing the food? Do you know that? That has not been told to us. So while the government is talking about this 25 by 25 food security program, they have not said to the citizens of this country, the landowners, the farmers, people in the agricultural industry, how can you contribute towards this food that will be in this food hub, right? And it's all about the optics for the PPP. So they say these nice things about food hubs, but they're not telling you how to use your land so that you can produce the food that will go into this food hub. Under these food hubs, under an APNU government, we will all the way down to the community level. The leader of the Norton, he talks about the APNU will have a policy to develop the villages as a part of developing the village economy. Like I said, we will develop an environmental industry, but we will also develop agriculture. So the government has food hubs, you will know how can you contribute your produce towards these food hubs. So the MPNU government will focus on not just what will happen at the top and the optics or just about saying all the nice things. We will also focus on how these policies can transform your lives in Plaisance, how it will transform your lives in Suriname, how it will transform your lives in success, how it will transform your lives in Ogle, on the East Bank, in Berbice, on the West Coast, West Bank, in Essequibo, how these plans can transform your lives in a real way. I'm going to go families, an area that the APNU government will be focusing on will also be on families. You see, when we talk about developing the village economy, right, families make up villages. So if the family is strong, then the village will be strong. And I'm going to wrap up here on one note to say to you that coming back briefly to the environment, the FPNU government will develop, we will do oil and the environment, and we will do it efficiently. So we will develop, for example, we will have an environment, an oil and gas waste management policy, oil and gas waste management strategy, oil and gas waste management plans, and so you don't have to be afraid that oil and gas waste will be processed in your community. So come 1st of September, both APNU, our leader is the Honorable Aubrey Compton Norton. Vote for change. Vote for better leadership. Vote for improved environment in Plaisance. Vote for better use of your agricultural lands. Vote for to keep your front lands. And also make sure that you tell your friends, your family members, your cousins, your neighbors, you have your ID card, you know where you're going to be voting. So come the 2nd of September 2025, we will have the change that we so deserve and desire. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Adriana. Thank you, Plaisance. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. I know you have voted for the coalition September 1st. But if you're really serious about voting for the coalition September 1st, you have to ensure you know where you're voting. So I want you to go on TICOM website. You can go on TICOM website and you can check to ensure that your name is on the list. And once you see your name on the list on TICOM website, I want you to go to your polling place and check the list there to ensure that your name is on that list too. Because I understand they got some nasty tricks up the street. People are finding their name when they check on the website. But when they go to the polling place, their names are not on those lists. So I really suspect, brothers and sisters, that they are moving people around on different lists. It's called gerrymandering. They want to frustrate you. And so I'm saying start the search first. Early as you can. Don't wait the election morning. Up next, brothers and sisters, to speak with you is one of your own. The chairman of the PMC group here in Plaisance, a sharp man, but he got a long heart and he knows to fight. And he has been in this fight for quite a long time. And so, brothers and sisters, put your hands together for your own. Sir Ronald! Sir Ronald! Lewis, welcome, brother. Good evening, Plaisance. Good evening, Sparnam. Good evening, good for Watson. Good evening, Guyana. My task tonight is very simple, and to just to let you know that come September 1st, you must vote APNU. Comrades, we have heard over and over again that a tiger does not change its stripes. Comrade, a tiger never changes its stripes. A thief will be a thief. A pig will be a pig.
and a duck will be a duck. And if I ought to draw a conclusion between the APNU and the PPP, I definitely will vote APNU. And why voting APNU will be my choice? Because APNU can be defined as a loyal party. APNU can be defined as a people-centered party. APNU can be defined as a party with dignity and a party with integrity. But if you look on the other side of the coin, you will recognize that PPP cannot stand anywhere when it comes to the APNU. The PPPC can be defined as a visionless party, full of arrogance, filled with failed promises, and embedded in corruption and lawlessness. Comrade, it's only the other day going to school in Enterprise, and there's a one-way pathway or a walkway, it's not a road, and they always have a collision there. And what actually happened? This man parked his vehicle in the middle of the road, and the man said, I will leave my vehicle right here, so nobody cannot come, nobody cannot go. And I remember someone came out and talked to him, and he said, you don't tell me anything. I voted for this corruption. And that is what I'm saying to you this evening. If you kill, you can get shelter under the PPP. If you steal, you can get shelter under the PPP. If you're dealing with drugs, you can get shelter under the PPP. Lawlessness and corruption is the order of the day. But I'm saying to you, when you look at the composition of the APNU, you will see clearly integrity and dignity flows in our veins. Comrades, our balance sheet places us in a very good position. Many times you hear us saying to us what the APNU have done in the past 5 years. Comrades, don't be fooled. When you look at the low-income houses that were built under the APNU without all money, and you compare it with that of these low-income homes built by the PPP, they cannot match. Comrades, when you look at the increase in salaries for the public servants, you will note as well that during the PNC APNU, we have given the public servants, which involve the policemen, policewomen, the teachers, and those officers, more than 72% increase compared to the PPC with all money. And all of this was done without all money. Comrades, I'm saying to you, let us not be fooled. So come September 1st, you need to vote boldly, vote proudly, vote APNU. Plaisance, I'm saying vote APNU. Let us palm it up. I said let us palm it up. This is what we ought to do. Vote APNU. And as my comrade said, from that day, we should not vote for Cup. Don't vote for Cup, but let us vote solidly. Let us vote boldly for APNU. Plaisance, Parlam, and good for working. The APNU is the only party that has a plan. We have a plan. We have a plan. We have a plan that will change this land because we are putting you first. We are putting the people first. So big focus, comrade. Don't be fooled with the Blue Party. Don't be fooled with the Wind Party. Don't be fooled with the PPPC. And I'm saying to you, as one of my comrades said earlier, a vote for the Wind Party is a vote for the PPP. Therefore, don't trade our vote. Don't spoil our vote. Don't sell our vote. Vote APNU. Comrade, I want to take you down memory lane. Let us look at the Speaker of the House. He was the leader of the TUS party. And as we speak today, we now endorse the PPPC. Look at C.N. Sharma. He took a lot of blows, lashes, and today he endorsed the PPP party. Look at the naked man. Remember the naked man? Mr. Schumann, the lawyer. Today he endorsed the PPP. Look at the squatter in parliament, the doctor. She went there independently too. And today she endorsed the PPP. We cannot afford to make those mistakes, comrade. We ought to remember, I said earlier, and I can say it again, that a tiger does not change its stripes. And there will be what it be. But all of them who have jumped ship, and I continue to say to them, we have room. Just how you switch, I'm asking you that you could switch back and allow your conscience to be your guide. Nothing will stop you from switching. Comrades, don't be fooled. For the Wind Party, for the Blue Party, don't be fooled, comrades. We were never part of the marriage. When they were sleeping in bed, we did not know what was going on. And therefore, I'm saying to you this evening, don't be a part of the divorce because you was never part of the marriage. Comrades, a vote for the PPP. Don't be fooled. You vote blue, you vote WIN, you vote in PPPC. It's not by chance, comrade, that the colors of the PPP are black and red. When you think about red, you think about murder, you think about blood, and when you think about black, you think about death. And we have said over and over that the PPP is a curse to our nation. The PPP is a blight to our country. And therefore, we need to vote the PPP out come September 1st. How many of you have noticed that since the PPP took office in 2020, our streets are washed with blood, a lot of murders. It is time that the PPP pack up and go. It's sheer murders and killing, blood and more blood on the road. It is time to remove the cost from this nation. It is time that we allow them to move out, and it can only be done come September 1st when you go and vote boldly for the APNU. Comrade, one of my colleagues said, come September 1st, 2 reasons she will be going and vote. I don't know if you remember Miss Gentle, the teacher. She said she going and vote and she will be the first at her polling place. And she going and vote there because one, because she wants to see justice for Adriana Young. And she said, secondly, she going and vote first because of Mark Light. And she said, and I want to endorse, when she thinks and she looked about Mark Light, she recognized clearly that is why Jesus wept. Comrades, the PPP destroyed every fabric of our country, our villages, our people, our family. Should we allow them to continue to govern this country? Should we allow them to continue after they have destroyed the fabric of our villages, our family, and our ancestors? I'm saying to you, it is time that we allow these people to pack up and take the lead. 2025 happens to be a year of revelation. And I'm saying to you, don't be worried, don't be confused with all those who have jumped ship. They will come home. There will be a time. They will be ashamed to tell you what they have faced. And we was able to greet them and welcome them back with open arms. Because I'm saying, comrade, this election is a serious election. We have an election to win. And we can only win this election if you do the right thing from September 1st. September 1st, we are depending on you. Remember, we have a plan. We have a plan. We have a plan. And that plan we got to be able to change this land. September 1st, farm it up. Farm it up. We farm it up. And we voted boldly and solidly for APNU. Thank you. Thank you very much. The PPP is known for a lot of things, but they are not known for good governance. I am sure, brothers and sisters, you don't want a government of rapists. You don't want the government of child abductors and murderers. You don't want the government of kleptocrats. And so, if for one thing, remember they got a man named Small Stuff on the PPP list. Ensure you don't vote for a list of rapists and child abductors. Brothers and sisters, I want to introduce you to a stalwart of the fight for good governance in this country. The man come from all the way back when, since I was a little shot nearby. And he is still fighting along his comrades in the Working People's Alliance ensure that we get good governance and good order and equity in this country. Brothers and sisters, the man has struggled many seas to come here to speak with us tonight. And so I want you to give a very warm welcome to Brother Roy Kanai, a stalwart of the Working People's Alliance. Give it up!
Thank you, Brother Kidaki. Good evening, brothers and sisters. I bring greetings to you from the Working People's Alliance Overseas Organization based in New York. We are committed to the liberation of Guyana from the hands of the PPP. For Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. For Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. We have seen in no uncertain terms the murder of a young child, Adriana. If a young child cannot get justice, if a family cannot get justice for the loss of their young child, who is safe in Guyana when the law does not protect the poor and the underprivileged? If the law is to serve only those at the top, then there is no justice for those at the bottom. We must demand justice for Adriana, and it will be justice for all of Guyanese who do not enjoy power. The PPP is interested in domination and control. The PPP takes the oil money and turns it into their money as if it's a gift to the Guyanese people from the PPP. No, the oil money belongs to all Guyanese people. And the money must be shared by all Guyanese people, regardless of race, regardless of color, regardless of political affiliations. It belongs to all Guyanese. The WPA has proposed that the oil money, a percentage of it, must be given to Guyanese family mandatorily and by law, not as a favor from any political party to use the oil money as a means of control to get your vote. Fall for the PPP buying of your votes. Do not allow the PPP to buy your votes. You sell your votes today, they will enslave you tomorrow. Brothers and sisters, for Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Roy. And so you heard it from a man that is just come, from a man that has been around for quite a while. He has fought many governments to ensure good governance in this country. And the fact that he is still fighting is saying to us that we have not yet achieved good governance in this country. Brothers and sisters, I'm reminding you, the only place to vote to get rid of the PPP is for the APNU. You have to farm them out. Farm them out! Brothers and sisters, I'm bringing to you an educator, a mother, a woman who knows the price of things in the market. And so she's going to address you tonight, and she's going to tell you what she thinks about the PPP and give you reasons as to why it is important to support the APNU. Sister Bonita Hope. Thank you, God, chair. Plaisance! Plaisance! I come to you tonight. You're comfortable with how your community is? Let me hear that again. Come September 1st, what do we have to do? Calm them out. We voting AENU out. That is what we are voting all over. We didn't even sold out with APNU. That is how we voting them out. Now wait a thing. I want to tell Plaisance something. Don't let them trick you and kill you. Hear what I say? Don't let them trick you and kill you. They're going to come in any shape or form. They're going to come as a leopard. They're going to come as tiger. They're going to come as cheetah. And all the old cat family. But don't let it trick you and kill you. Because I heard this thing. We had that before in 2020. You remember? All of them who came in the name of the small parties. And today, what are they? Where they are wolves in sheep clothing. They are right where they belong. All things criminal. That they in the all things criminal party. All things criminal. All things shady. That is the PPPC. So let me tell you something. The young people, let me tell you. Go on. Get quick. Get quick. Get rich quick or die trying. Is a no-no at this point. You gotta understand. You have no foundation for you. You know what I tell you? It's positive reason I'm giving you. You have no foundation for your future generation to come. You understand? Set up and down today, it's a done tomorrow. But here's the thing. If you get a solid 9 to 5, where you're earning proper, you could able to put up your little business and your other things, and you're surviving comfortably. You understand? Don't worry the handout. Let me tell you the truth for your handout thing. When they hold you today, and they make you hostage, because let me tell you something. Everything for them course. Nothing doesn't go under them but corruption. You disagree with me? Nothing doesn't go under the PPP but corruption. So come September 1, I say, we palming them out. Let me see the palm say. Hey, let that pass high. Because we palming them out resoundingly. We must air if they have 1,000 voters there, APNU 1,000, PPP 0. That is what we want to hear. We palming them out. You understand? Because I hear this thing. We ain't voting for nobody kill with children no more. We ain't voting for that disappearing and die in a shallow grave. We ain't voting for them to adopt our children. We're not voting for our children to be taken to the slaughterhouse and murder. We are not voting for that. So I'm telling you youth today, don't get tricked. Don't get caught in the thing. Bear strength. Hold it up. You guys understand, change coming. And under Aubrey comes to Northeast, trust me, things will get better. It's going to get better because anything on the green is agriculture. It has grown. You understand? No stagnation in dead and dead. You hear what I'm telling you? So when they give you a little money, they're going to set you up. Because you hear about the money, but you hear about the what? So you're going to collect the money. And when you collect the money, you sign on to the devil. You sign your covenant, your death sentence with the devil. I tell you that I know a person who signed on because they think it's, I'm buying money nice. But not all money nice to collect, at least not from them. You hear? So let me tell you, they collect the money. And then when they ask them to do something, they give them a part of the money. They didn't give them all of the money. When they completed the act, you know what it is? They bump them off after. And they say, you go so. Because what? You know too much now. So you can't stay there. You can't say that dead man tell no tales. So hear this thing. That's not what we want, because we don't want our children to grow up in broken homes. We don't want our children to grow is a time of being strategic. And the time is now for us to vote APNU. Oh, the man got started, you know. Let me tell you, see this palm? It represents a lot of things. So many things all inside the palm. Many things all in the palm. You see how many other parties are there? Not only that, all our fingers are not even. And because we know that all our fingers are not even, Aubrey Compton Norton, along with his team, is ready and waiting to, you know what, meet us at the point of our needs. We know that everybody is not the same level. So when according, we will meet you according to your needs. So that is one for the young people. Now let me tell you about the system. The anti-pre buy over. The no child left behind system. Anti-pre, which is a big auntie. Don't call she by her name. I guess you should respect. Big anti-pre. She bring the no child left behind system. But here's the thing. The thing was strategically designed to make our young people not to be critical thinkers. She wants them to be yes men and women. The thing was designed for divide and conquer. You understand? Because they should tell you that this thing is blue, despite you seeing it red, you can't go question anti-pre because it's a no child behind. If you don't get a solid education for a whole year in one grade, how is it that you could go over in another grade and you didn't complete this grade with your level of competence? You tell me about it. Does that make sense? We making sense there? No, so what we doing? We keep piling on and piling on and piling on. And when we pile on, the persons around you become frustrated, okay, they're able to go back. But here's the thing, the system that we had before was working. If you didn't pass the grade level, you would have stayed back. So you would have gotten a level of responsibility that you know that you have to pass before you get to the other grade. But it's not done anti-free. Anti-free want this thing done quick and fast. You're able to express this stress-free process. You understand? So she ain't got time to go back there. So you all just go through the system. And when you go through the system now, you already know much. You can't end up with no proper 9 to 5. You could end up with a proper 9 to 5 in my arm when you ain't got nothing of it. Talk to me, the man. No. So, hey, what am I going to do now? They're going to send you through them little ups and ends around. Because you can't help yourself. You want the money. You understand? So when you do that now, there's where they keep you in bondage. You can make decisions, informed choices for yourself. So that is the system anti-free wants us to have. But here's the thing, under APNU, we have a better system in place. It teaches you accountability. So under that system, you know that you have to rise to the occasion and step up. And even if you're not there, there will be other things and mechanisms put in place to help you to get to that level. All right? So under the APNU, we are going to palm them out come September 1. Now let me talk about Uncle Mark. Uncle Mark, that. Yeah? Uncle Mark, that. Uncle Mark is extremely disrespectful. Now I have been an educator. I am an educator for almost 30 years, which is 3 decades, eh? Look how long. And I can't even ride a bicycle. Eh? Sound like shopping it, now true? But because of how the PPP enslaved teachers, you gotta be running from paycheck to paycheck. And when is the next payday? That should not have been us. Because we mold the nation, and for the fact that we created all other professions, we should have been in a better place, in a better standing. Would you agree with me? Certainly, yes. So, because of that, Uncle Mark and Auntie Priya then concoct a plan representation on behalf of the teachers. But then he knows that his loyalty lies with his party. Alright? And so now he play, come around with this thing. And eventually, he had met no proper representation for us. He was being disrespectful. Real disrespectful. Because you tell me, can Uncle Mark live on that money that he made representation on behalf of teachers? He talked for me. Uncle Mark didn't talk for me. Uncle Mark talked for himself. He wanted his own personal self-interest. He wanted to fill his own pocket. So Mark talked for himself and not me as a teacher. You understand? Because if Mark had spoken on behalf of us as teachers, he should have first consulted us. Teachers are approximately 14,000 and counting in this country. And if you didn't consult with we, how you could bargain on behalf of we? Talk to me now. Isn't that disrespect? Then Uncle Mark coming back and telling people, well, you're going to get 10, 9, and 8. Is what we doing? The law of diminishing returns? No, we don't want so. Under the coalition, the previous administration, without oil, we were given much more increases. You know what I'm telling you? We had much more. Teachers were more comfortable. We had more increases. But here this thing, he likes fastly. And we ain't taking it. And the iron, but that's the best choice he made. No, Uncle Mark made the best choice. That was the only choice he had. Because here this thing. When you ever know in a group where everybody cognitively challenged or academically challenged, and you probably emerge the brightest out of the set, you gotta go there. You can't come where persons are qualified, they are empowered, and all of that. You can't come there. So don't let him say that that was the best choice. That is his only choice. He didn't have another choice. Because he can't come and face correctly. And if you can't come and say the other teachers over the side because we are not yes teachers, you will ask Uncle Mark what trust you did. You understand? So here this thing now. Come September 1st. Let me see how many of you ready. This thing is not a my thing and a your thing, and I don't want to get involved because I will be victimized. Let me tell you something. You've done the victimized already. So might as well make it a bad job. You're already victimized. Because they're the thing. Here how they perceive it. As long as you're African Guyanese, you're perceived to be APNU. And as long as you're Indo-Guyanese, you're perceived to be PPP. And that's not the case. So here's the thing. We don't vote like that. We just vote for policies. We just vote on principles and those things. And let me tell you something. I ain't able for no visionless person. I said none. Visionless person. Rudy, none. Under Mr. Norton. Mr. Norton's leadership, if he's an educator, he's a teacher by profession because he used to lecture at the University of Guyana. So he knows the pain and the struggles of teachers. He knows it inside out. And a person like that will be far more empathetic towards us. And as teachers, some of us are born, while some of us are just in a profession. But the transformational ones know that they will always exhibit and display a thing called empathy. I heard Auntie Pretty say, oh, I am not a boss. I don't want to be a boss now. No, she decided she want to be boss. Priya was boss after years. She wanted to boss people around all the time. Her professionalism is ground zero. Breaking ground zero, she has none. Yeah, because let me tell you something. If you say something about Priya, Priya doesn't like critics. She comes after you. And any professional would know that your critics will cause you to grow. They will help you to grow. But on the Priya, no, she's too petty and childish. So that's not good for her. She says, I will serve the people. The only people that don't serve in this country is themselves. If themselves, Priya, they have never they have never served the people of Guyana. Unless you are a friend, you are a family, and you are a favorite. And here is the thing. I am urging all of you tonight to get on board. Get involved. This thing is an all-right thing. This thing is not a meeting and a meeting and I fight you. We can't fight you. If all of us lie down and roll over, they will walk on us like birds. You know what I'm saying? I'm not prepared. I am prepared to make them accountable. My colleague said earlier tonight that they must pack up their things and leave. But I'm saying differently. When they are packed and they are ready to leave, they must find their orange jumpsuit and go straight to jail. That is where they need to go. Thank you for listening to me tonight.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Bonita. And we are going to go right down. We are heading down to the stretch. And so we're going to call another educator, which I don't understand. But a stalwart of the WPA who has been fighting year in, year out. And he can tell you about discrimination because he black and because he was on the other side of the political aisle. And so, brothers and sisters, let us welcome to the podium Brother Forbes Dion Abrams. Put your hands together. Brothers and sisters of Plaisance, Sparendam, good for watching. I greet you in the name of the Working People's Alliance, the WPA, and the APNU. We have come tonight to speak with you because we believe that this is a very critical juncture in the life of this country. And if we allow this moment to pass without having a decisive change in the government and in the structure of the government in this country, that villages like Plaisance, Davie, Buxton, Paradise will become grounds where the PPP will continue to seek to deprive us of what is rightfully ours. I am particularly concerned because we do not understand, and too many of us seem not to understand, that if we are to give the PPP another 5 years in government, that we are going to be burying ourselves so deep that we will not be able to come out of the quagmire in which we have placed ourselves. And so when we say not to split the vote, we understand the plans of the PPP. We have seen them occurring and manifesting themselves even now. Brother McCray spoke about the lands that are owned by the African villages, villages that were bought by our foreparents. And I understand that in Plaisance that their struggles are not over. That there is one individual here who has aligned himself with the PPP and who has decided that some 6,000 acres of land at the back belongs to him. And from hell or high water, that under the PPP, he is going to get those lands. I understand too that he has already made efforts to sell those lands, not to the people of Plaisance, not to people who are ancestors or are like you and me, but to some alien individual and company. It was the same thing that was happening at TV. And it is the same thing that will continue to happen, so that we will be deprived of opportunities for expansion and for our villages to grow and for our children to benefit from what is rightfully there. The PPP is obsessed with lands that belong to African people, and they've been making every effort to give themselves the leverage to take away our lands and to give it to whom they want. I drove along the local New Oval Road going up to the Heroes Highway, and you can see that those lands have already been distributed to friends of the PPP. This is the nature of things. If you move along the Heroes Highway in the vicinity of Makka, where they threw out our brothers and sisters and kill their animals, those lands obviously have already been given to friends of the PPP. Currently, they're supposed to build a road leading all the way from up the East Coast, coming right out to the Oval Road and joining the highway, the Heroes Highway. And the plan of the government is that when this road passes through the villages, that they are going to take possibly on both sides of the road, all of the prime land, some 300 feet of land away from the highway, both left and right. And you know to whom those lands will be given. It will be given to friends of the PPP. So for every avenue that will allow us to develop ourselves economically, the PPP is seeking to deprive us and to take it away. The fact that they continue to hold us hostage with legal wages is because they want to have us in a situation of poverty so that we can have the scenarios that are playing out in front of us today, where many of our young people are so craving, wanting for betterment, that anything that passes, they're willing to bring themselves at it for a pittance under the belief that they're going to get betterment because this person does give. That is what my student told me when I asked him who you're voting for. He said he's voting for Willie. So I said, why? He said, because Muhammad does give people things. He has given us death. He has given us, uh, you know, robbery of the treasury. And he will continue to deliver nothing to us. Because he doesn't have the capacity. If you listen to the man, he cannot reason economically. for us to get rid of them in what should be a legal, transparent manner. But they don't want transparency. What it's saying is there, she is a PPP student. She's doing everything that they asked her to do, and they have taken over the Elections Commission and are ready to come to us with a result that is not in keeping with the demands of the people. And so, our people, we must understand that every vote must go to the APNU. We cannot divide ourselves. And our Indian brothers and sisters who are feeling the same squeeze of us, the Amerindians, the Portuguese, the PPP is not good for Guyana. And we have to get rid of them in whatever way possible. You see, in communities like Annandale, every month, and so my Indian brothers may feel that things are nice to them because every month, and then Andalal will go to the little office that they have there, and they will share ampers to the community, and at the bottom of the amper is a $50,000 watt. They are getting that every month. But we don't want a system where you are given some kind of privilege that can be taken away from you when you decide that you don't want to go with the game. Because what they're doing, if you stand up today to them and to say, man, you all are doing wrong, they're going to tell you, well, you're not going to get the answer. When the APNU comes into power, it will institutionalize all of these methods of ensuring that the people are benefiting and not in any way that excludes any individual or any party or any. It will be for all Guyanese. Dr. Hines will tell you about cash transfer. Dr. Oaken will also explain in details about that. But we have to understand that if we give the PDP the opportunity, that we will continue burying our sons and our daughters, and that we're going to continue to live in poverty, and that we will not have a voice that will allow us to speak, to represent ourselves, because they have continued to erode the freedom of this country by creating laws that are draconian, that when you speak, you become a terrorist, that when you fight to defend your right and dignity, you are thrown into the prison, and that you are shot and killed when you demonstrate that you have had enough and that you need a change. And there is one other thing that I want to talk about, and that is the fact that if we allow the people to get into power again, that we are possibly going to lose the opportunity to have an election like this where we stand a chance of winning. Because they are intent on bringing into this country to replace those who are leaving, people from other parts of the world who they believe are going to support them from election. You see, if you were born in a Commonwealth country and you come to Guyana, it only takes 1 year before you can be registered and you can be made to vote. And they already have plans to flood the country with people whom they believe are going to vote for them. And so we will become a minority in our country, and we may not be able to defeat them ever again. And our young people need to understand this. You need to speak to them, let them understand the gravity of the situation, and let them not allow us to have ourselves grounded again into slavery by the PDP. And so Come September 1, you have one option. It is not a choice, it is what must be done. You have to vote for the APNU if you want to have the betterment and the benefit of the plans that are in store for you. They are copying everything that the APNU has put forward for development in this country. They have no idea. All of the plans, the overroad and everything are plans that were already in train by the APNU. And once Norton announced that it's launching, all of the flowery things that people are going to benefit from, all they've been doing is piggybacking and copying. Brothers and sisters, good night. Go home, speak to your young people, and let them come off the foolish road that have been followed. Good night to you all.
Thank you, Brother Dion. I'm looking forward to the rent to home. The rent to home. Because I know a lot of people get land but they can't build house. Or we not say you don't get land and you can't build house. We gonna build house and you're gonna rent to own it. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the education grant. It's $600,000 a year if you're going to the University of Guyana. Plus you're getting free education. That is good governance. Brothers and sisters, I want to call Brother Takuma Ogonse, who is no stranger to any of us here, to the microphone. Takuma Ogonse, a warrior for the people. Thank you, Brother Chair. Residents of Plaisance and surrounding areas, we in the Working People's Alliance are here in your community to join your community with the rest of Guyana in a massive electoral rebellion against this wicked PPP government. We come to speak to you in a way that our partners in the AFPMU may have some difficulty speaking to you because there is a saying that in electoral politics you behave in a certain way. And we the Working People's Alliance judge, we the Working People's Alliance respect the judgment of our partners. And then we are on the platform with them, we toe the line. But we decided to keep these WPA meetings not to toe the line, but to raise matters which we believe are critical to the elections and critical to the future of Guyana, and in particular the African community. We come here to tell you that we are at a critical juncture as a nation, and we are at a critical juncture as an African community. These CMU is doing for you what we the PPP is doing for the country. You cannot spend $4.5 trillion as against $1.5 trillion and then ask us that this is a democratic exercise. No, this is a seizure of the people's money, using against them to enslave them. And we are saying we're not falling for the trick. While we are doing what every electoral party is expected to do in an election, we have our eyes on the ball. Oil and gas has created the opportunity for a transformation of the Ghanaian economy in unprecedented ways. We only have in production for our wells. And right now, the present rulers have more money than any government or any rulers from slavery to the present. Never in the history of our country any set of rulers sat on that kind of money. Very transformational. And you only have 4 wells in operation. You project your mind. Then we have 10 wells in operation. You're talking about gigantic sums of trillions of dollars in United States money. Money that we cannot keep abreast in counting. And there are among us people who are stealing our money by the millions of United States dollars. And at the same time, they want to create a situation where the bulk of the population live in poverty. We in the WPA, while we commit to our manifesto agreement with our member parties, because in the election, you have to agree on manifestos, you have to agree on economic programs so that there is some unity in the coalition. But as a party who understands the history of this country, we are looking ahead of the elections and we are insisting that whatever happens in these elections, the WPA will not rest. This is our commitment to you, the African community. We will not rest until we force whichever government in power, whether it's the PPP or our own government. We're going to force whatever government in power to give a commitment and write into the constitution of this country that oil wealth, money, and oil resources must be used to deal with the historic injustices of our people. We want a commitment from Guyanese government to tell us in a reasonable time when the African economy, the American economy will get close to parity with the Indian economy or the Portuguese economy or the Chinese economy. We do not want to hear the old-fashioned talk that government is there simply to govern from all Guyanese. We want history and historic injustices to become the cornerstone of a new Guyana. Because we are convinced there will not be peace in this country if Africans and Amerindians and generally the multiracial poor is subjugated to economic domination and misery. One of our speakers has pointed out to you that one of the real threats facing Guyana is that with the oil revenue, the transformative effects of oil have already been bringing to our country hundreds of thousands of people. I am told there's over 150,000 Venezuelans in the Escobar areas
and elsewhere in Guyana. People will be coming from all parts of the world to participate in the oil wealth of our country. And in so doing, you will have a change in demographics. And within the next 10, 20 years, Africans and Indians and Amerindians will find themselves minorities in their own country. Many of you may not know that at the end of slavery, throughout the Caribbean and throughout Latin America, the majority of the population were Africans. But as when the Europeans began to engage in the economic activity, they whitened the place. And when you look at the rest of Latin America, you don't know that those countries at the end of slavery were populated mainly by Africans. And there is a plan for Guyana. We must not fool ourselves that in this complex world of economic problem for resources, that we are the masters of our own destiny. Not that easy. United we stand, divided we fall. But before that unity could mean something, we have to correct the historic injustice, and we have to make sure that the African economy gets close to parity with the Indian economy, or the basis of national unity if it is to be genuine. You cannot have an economy where 10% of the economy are only in the hands of Africans and Amerindians, and 90% of the economy is outside our hands. How half of the population could live on 10% of the economy? It is that structural injustice which has been shaped by history and worsened by the policies of the PPP. They deny public servants better wages. When the PPP came into power in 1992, they inherited from the White regime a procurement legislation which allow small and ordinary people to get government contracts with a degree of ease. What the PPP did is to destroy that and to put in place arrangements that made it difficult for small contractors to get access to government contracts. And we know in this country, the government is the largest spender of funds in the economy. And from 1992 to 2015, the PPP dominates the economy, and most of the government contracts went to their friends and their cronies, and they strengthen their constituency. At the same time, when over 90% of your government spending went outside the African and Amerindian community, it went in the Indian and the Portuguese community. And your sisters and brothers, in part, explain the disparity between our ethnic communities. At the same time, they respect the collective bargaining of Gao and the sugar workers. And under the PPP, the sugar workers became one of the highest paid workers in the country. And the WPA has no problem with that. If workers are able to screw the system and to get benefits, so be it. But what we are dealing with is deliberate political machination designed to strengthen the PPP hold on the Indian community to the Dow, to the estates. And at the same time, they deny the public servants increases. There are a large number of Africans poor. And it is these things that today create the condition where our young people feel that they have to pay for pittance. This problem that we have with Mohammed and Ohina and our young people is a problem that we, the elders in the African community, have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to start a self-criticism among ourselves. No young person, no young person survives. No young person is conditioned outside the social conditioning of a society and a community, a home, a village. And we allow our young people not to become battle ready. This is the only set of young people in my, as far as I could be called. I'm an old person. I'm in politics from the age of 16 and 73. So I walk a long road in this battle. And I have to tell you, our young people today have no experience in political struggle and mobilization. We kept them off the streets too long. We did not allow them to feel the sense and the strength of our collective political fight. And that is why today they are not battle ready and they are easy picking. But we have our duty. We have the duty to ensure that instead of blaming them, we resolve as elders, we resolve as seniors, that we will create the political conditions to stop their social and political degeneration. That is our responsibility, and that is not the responsibility of the youth. That is the responsibility of the elders. We in the WP have committed for this meeting to end at least by 9:30. Dr. David Hines is here, and I know you want to hear him. So I will tie up very quickly, because we want to send you home by 9:30. We want to say to you that come September 1st, you're not engaged in a simple election. You are engaged in an electoral rebellion. And we want you to keep that in your head. You're not there simply to go and cast your vote in a democratic way, in a democratic exercise. You are casting your vote with a sense of rebellion. And we in the Working People's Alliance are telling you there will be a post-election rebellion. And we want you to prepare. Thank you and good night. Thank you, Brother Kakuma. The driver of motorcar PAE 4189. PAE 3189. I understand you're blocking somebody's exit or entrance, so they're kindly asking for you to remove so that they can get the freedom to move. PAE 3189, the driver, could you remove your vehicle, please? Done. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, the next speaker, like Takubo Gonzalez said, is no stranger to you, and he is going to come to address you. And that is co-leader of the Working People's Alliance, and I understand, let me note to that. Co-leader of the Working People's Alliance, Professor Dr. David Hines. So you put your hands together.
happy with plans, but always spin round. Talk about progress, but the people still down. Say it's grand, but it's pure confusion. No structure, no plan, just illusion. We bring vision, they bring stress. Every time we rise, they say clean palace. School road, water, clinic and nurse. When you know who come, everything gets worse. We ready, time to remove the cuts. We ready, time to put people first. No more tricks, no more rehearse. We don't realize we flip the verse. Every day we bring purpose. We ready, time to remove the cuts. Them laugh but crime flow. No them giving why. We are party, confusion file, idea, but can't manage file and give it with them policy file. Where's the plan? Where's the reason? You know who playing them same old games? Fire and deserve better cost. We know when this come now, run away.
Good night, Plaisance, Farndam, and surrounding areas. It's good to come to a village on a Wednesday night and to see people standing up for themselves and standing up for their country. We want to start tonight with some very clear messages. Thank you, son. One of the things that we have to do when we take power is to ensure that we bring back respect among ourselves. And that is why we as guests, we come to our communities and there is not an awareness of the serious signs. But we'll get there. I understand the police is standing by with instructions to make some arrests tonight. And I am ready to go down. So I start by saying that we are not only trying to defeat the PPP, we are also trying to defeat jihad. And we want to make it clear. And I can see the handcuffs are coming up. But I want to say very clearly, whatever happens after September 1, we will not accept a rigged election. And if the PPP only attempt to rig the coming election, they will understand what real rebellion is about. And we have to figure that out. I also want to say that I am a pro-Guyanese. This country has given birth to so many of us. This country has given birth to one of your own international sons, Mr. Master Eddie Grant. Guyana is a place to be from. And for the old-timers like me, we will remember a name, Rex Collymore, one of Guyana's top cricketers of the 1970s, from this very city. And so, we are proud Guyans. As some of you would know, I am a proud West Indian. And also,
love you all. My love for black people does not mean that I don't love others. I just love being beautiful. I just love being black and beautiful. Say it to me. And so these elections are serious for us. I want to say to you, nowhere in the world has any party won an election without its base. Y'all hear me? Nowhere in the world has any party won an election without its loyal voters. You come first. If we get all the other voters, we still will lose. We have to get, first and foremost, you who are loyal to us. And so you have one vote. One vote. Do not waste it. Do not split it. Do not sell it. Do not play around with it. Your vote determines who governs. And who governs determines who gets what, when, and how. Sisters and brothers, let us be clear about what we're up against. On September 1st, you go out there, you go to the ballot box, you mark your X, and when you finish marking your X, you put your chest in the air, you walk outside, and you say, we are ready to defend our votes. September 1st is not going to be an ordinary day. It's going to be a day when we will have to take serious action. The elections are being rigged. Let me say so. 2 days ago, Chico said that it is a criminal offense to buy votes. Well, Chico said that. For 2 years, the people been coming in to African villages and say, here is some money, put on a restaurant. That is vote buying. They come in and they say, here is $1 million contract, put on a red shot. That is vote buying. They come in and give you $40,000 as a 10-day worker, and then tell you, put on a red shot. That is vote buying. He also, at the spirit of the revolution, a man lashed a woman on her head with a gun because they buy she vote and didn't want it. Vote buying is an offense. And the PPP and others have been involved in vote buying. Vote buying is rigging, and they have been involved in rigging. That is why we say that on September 1st, we are not just putting that X, we are also got to be ready to defend our votes. Let us make it very clear. We are at a defining, very, very defining movement. We talk, and you can hear from our platform what the APNU government will do. And there are lots of things we will do. But there are some things we will not do. An APNU government will not facilitate the murder of another Payton Bacchus. We will not facilitate the murder of another Orange Boston. We will not facilitate the murder of another beautiful black boy. We will not facilitate the murder of Robbie Lee and Ronald Walker and 400 and more black men. Woman, hold her head and cry for her son has been shot down on the streets. Brother John King, how many more? How many more? Under the APNU government, black women will no longer have to cry for their son. How many more? How many more? Under the APNU, we will sing happy songs. We will sing glorious songs. Too many of our young people have been dying under an APNU government. We will not cover up the murder of little 11-year-old girls. Our little children must feel free to swim, to walk, and not be killed. And on the first 100 days of an APNU government, we will investigate and we will arrest the murderer and murderers of APNU. They are walking free. Let them walk 2 morning more. Because after September 1st, we are coming for them. We are coming for them. They swap their revolvers and they get away with it. Not another black child will be swapped in this country and protected by the government under the APNU. Sisters and brothers, we have fought many battles. And we have won many battles. And this is the battle of battles. One of the obstacles to progress in this country is poverty. The white people say poverty stalks Guyana. 48% of our people live in poverty. 48%. What that means? Half of our population live on $1,100 or less. $900. Half of our population. You can't buy a food for $1,100. What that simply means is that our people are starving. And when people are starving, they do what they have to do to survive. And that is why we are urging not to cost the young people. They're starving. And what we have to do when we take power is reduce and ultimately end poverty. And how are we going to do that? The first thing we do is ensure that you get money in your pocket. And that money is not just to show that we give you, but to end poverty. My party, the WPA, led by distinguished economists like Thomas, he said, and he calculates that if we take 10% of the oil money and we divide it among each household in Guyana, each household will get $1 million. Not 100,000, 1 million. And what do we mean by an household? A household is a pot. If you live in a house, woman daddy upstairs, they cook in their own pot. Some themselves believe family, they cook in their own pot. Daughter with three family, she cook in her own pot. Those are three pots in one house. They will get $3 million on the hour. And it's an inclusionary plan because the $100,000 that the PPP gave, you only give it to people 18 years and over. Almost 20% of our population was left out. Young people, 17 years, 2 children. 16 years, 2 children. They were left out. Under our plan, they will get $1 million because they are a family. They are a household. The next thing we will do is public servants. Public servants have been given 7%, 6%. They are the lowest paid workers. And they have to go on strike. And every time they strike, 2%, 3%. Under an APNU government, our public servants will get a 35% raise. And we will sit down with the union and we will argue for more. We will bring back collective bargaining to this country. And more than that, all them 6% that they've been giving, they've been robbing the public servants. We are saying that what we will do is once we take power, we will give a plot of land to every public servant. You can take it as a house tax. You can take it as a plot to go and farm. Or you can take it and use it as collateral at the bank. You will get a plot of land if you are a public servant for all the money that they rob you over the years. Sisters and brothers, our young people are drifting away. And we have to stop it. And the way we stop it is to get our young people off the streets. Some of you are old enough to remember national service. We are going to bring back a version of national service where our young people can learn skills, they can learn manners, and they can achieve their full potential. Sisters and brothers,
We want also to take guns off the streets. Too many guns. Too many guns. Too many guns. We have to take guns off the streets. And we have to put in the hands of our young people money and power. Money and power. Not dirty money. Free money. Education. Education is power. Education is power. We are going to ensure that we open night schools. Where those of you who might have missed your CXC can go back and get your CXC. And for those of you in school, we're going to broaden the curriculum. We're going to learn the STEM subjects. But we are also going to bring back in schools sports. Our young people will engage in sports in school. They're going to bring back music and dance as subjects in school. Our people, as soon as they're born, they learn to dance and they sing. And now, under the APNU government, we will ensure that singing and dancing become an industry. Cultural tourism. When people visit Guyana, our young people will sing and dance not just to entertain, but to feed their family. And so we are on the move. We have been to the mountain top, and we have looked over, and we have seen the promised land. That promised land is beckoning. I want to ask you, in the name of your ancestors, to put that X next to the palm. This palm, put it in the air, this palm, has no blood on it. This is a clean palm. This is a beautiful palm. And as you raise it to the night sky, commit yourself that you will vote for your ancestors. They bought this land. They developed this land with these palms. They dug the canal. They paved the roads. They worked for nothing. They are owed back pay. So, on September 1st, you voted for your grandmother and grandfather back pay. On September 1st, we have a date. We have a date for victory. We have a date for destiny. We have a date for justice. And we must show up. We must show up in our numbers. Each of you must become a warrior. On September 1st, sisters and brothers, let us go out there. Let us go out there, as they say, with blood in our eyes. Let us go out there knowing that the future of this country lies with us.
Sometimes we are called upon to save our nation, and this time is our time. Victory is definite. They said that Aubrey Norton was too black. They said he is not electable. They say he does drink at the street corner. But you, the people, lifted him. And today he's poised to become the next president of Guyana. And he has a capable team with him. Prime ministerial candidate, vice presidential candidates, and a big team behind him. With the capacity to govern this country and to pull it back. We stand there tonight as your son and your daughter. And we say from this platform that we know politicians come, they take your votes, and they don't come back. But I pledge tonight in my name, and in the name of the working people's alliance, that when we win, we will come back to this village and to all the villages. They say I'm a warrior, and yes I am, but I'm just not just a warrior outside of government. When we win, I will be a warrior for you, the ordinary people inside of government. I will support, we in the WPA will support our government, but we will hold our government accountable in your name. Sisters and brothers, on a gloomy night in Memphis, Tennessee, on the 3rd of April, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King wasn't feeling well, and they urged him to go to a meeting of striking sanitation. And he gave a speech. Among other things, he said, "Tonight, I am fearing no man. I borrow from him. Tonight, we are fearing no man, because we have been to the mountaintop, and we have seen the promised land. And as a people, we will get there with you, because it's not long in coming. 2 morning more. The sign of times are here." The other night in BB, we were at a meeting, and 2 donkeys were walking up and down. The people in BB say it's 2 stray donkeys. One named I and one named B. A little boy said at times I'm a fool you. One named Orphan and one named Barat. 2 stray donkeys. On September 1st, we are cleaning Guyana and its government of all stray donkeys. 2 nights later, Brother Rodwell, your countryman, and I We were at a meeting in Beirut, and a little mangy dog, I walk up and down. Mr. Uda, they say, he named A. But the guy said, no, he named Anil Nanda. On September 1st, we are cleaning the government of all mangy dogs. Sisters and brothers, we have to be serious. This is more than just your vote in a box. This is your dignity. This is your dignity. They can take away your land as they've done. They can take away your wages as they've done. But they will never be able to take away your dignity. Because your dignity is deep inside your Caribbean belly, your Guyanese belly, your African belly. And when you go there, throw your belly out in that ballot box. And we say, this time, the long time. This time, we are not going to lie down and take a pass. From this podium, I say to you, I pass of Plaisance people is over. I pass of black people is over. I pass of poor people of all races is over. We have suffered too long. We have cried too much. We have buried our dead. And now it's time to stand erect and say, thank God Almighty. We are free, free at last, because we can see through to the other side. We can see over yonder, and over yonder is freedom. Freedom for your picnic. Freedom for your mama. Freedom for your daddy. Freedom for your village. Sisters and brothers, residents of Plaisance and Sparringdam, put on your battle gear, as Brother Takuma said. Put on your battle gear and be ready, like the old spiritual people say. I have a sword in my hand, and I'm ready to use it well. Let that ballot be a sword and use it well. And as the Rasta brothers and sisters will tell us, the Lion of Judah shall break every chain and give us the victory again and again. Victory is on sight. Let us march on. Let us march on to glory with our palm in the air. And when we are finished palming them out, we put our fist in the air. The fist of fury, the fist of freedom. And we say, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Onward to victory, onward to victory. Thank you very much. Oh, then it be impossible to do. We don't want this to be no more. We don't our people. That they don't feel like a true and true. Stop hiding, stop trying to fool me. Yes, we got Good night to you all. Please be reminded that tomorrow at 6 o'clock there will be an APNU meeting at the junction of Miss Dennis and Miss Austin. That's up the east, north of Plaisance. So we're looking forward to see you all tomorrow at 6 o'clock for the APNU meeting continues in the village of Plaisance. Thank you.